Okay, the final practice turtle self-assessment problem that we have is called houseboat. Now I'm starting from a relatively blank slate. I have previously implemented rectangle in a couple different videos, at least the prior one, and I believe I've implemented it before. And so I'm assuming at this point that you've got a handle on writing your own rectangle function. If not, please feel free to go back to the prior video so you can see that in action. And so in this case, I've also created a triangle function before. And so I will quickly write that out here. So it's taking the length of each side as a parameter. I'm going to use a loop to repeat these steps 3 times. And I'm going to go turtle dot forward, the length, and then I'm going to turn turtle dot right. I'm going to go 120. And we'll see if these turns should be left or right or what makes my life easy as we go. All right, so now what I want to try and do is in main, to test these functions, I'm going to try and draw a houseboat. Except there are some computations here, so I might try and just dive in and draw my houseboat function. Okay, let's be sure first that our triangle function is working, as well as our rectangle function. Let's do 10, 50. Let's see what we get. So I do like to test and just make sure. So great, this is a best practice in programming. I created 2 functions, and now before putting them together in a house function, I am testing each one individually. It looks like they're working correctly. Now the only thing I can notice is that I do want my triangle pointing the other direction. So I'm going to head that off right now. And instead of it pointing down, I'm going to turn left to make it point up. Let's confirm. Ta-da! Awesome. That looks great. So it's a really strong foundation, and now I can try and build the houseboat function. Okay, houseboat takes the width and the height of the houseboat as parameters and draws a houseboat by calling the triangle and rectangle functions. So we'll start with triangle. Let's see. The square and triangle side length should be equal to the height. Okay, so we'll start with the height. And then I'm going to call, I noticed when my triangle and rectangle were drawing, they were already in this configuration that I wanted of the house on top of the houseboat. So I'm going to go ahead and draw those things now. And remember, if you're using a rectangle function to draw a square, you just make the height and the width be the same and you have a square. You can also optionally create what's called a wrapper function, where you create a square function that just takes one parameter and simply calls rectangle. It delegates the drawing of a square to the rectangle function. Okay, so here I have my houseboat so far. Let's test this out before I start drawing the boat portion. Let's just see what happens. Uh-oh. Nope. Something wonky's going on. Oh, because I didn't call it properly. Haha. So a houseboat takes 2 parameters. Let me make our houseboat 20 times 100. Let's try that. Great. That looks like it should go on top of a boat. Now I just need to figure out how to draw this bottom rectangle here. So the bottom rectangle of the boat should be width wide and half the height tall. I don't know if I'm going to change my houseboat call to be 200 because I don't think this is going to work otherwise. So now I'm just going to start by drawing a rectangle. It's not going to be in the right spot. I'm going to need to move it, but it can give me a sense of if my dimensions are correct. So the bottom rectangle of the boat should be width wide and half the height tall. So I'm going to divide my height by 2. Now you might notice here I'm going with double slashes. That's going to be integer division because In this case, we're working with pixels, and so that's going to give me an integer. Pixels, the number of pixels, these are all whole numbers or integer values. If you do a single slash and try it out and it doesn't make an error, awesome, that's fine too. But I'm doing that just to remind myself that it's integer division. Okay, and the house will be situated half the width minus half the house size, which is height, over. So I do know I'm going to have to move a little bit. I'm not moving yet. I want to test this out and make sure it works properly. Good. Okay, awesome. I don't know if my boat is the right dimensions, but I do know that I need to move it. And I need to go at least, I need to turn right and go down the length or the height of this square. I need to move that over, and then I'm going to have to backtrack a little bit. So let's see if we can figure out what that's going to look like. Okay, so I'm going to turtle dot right. I don't think I have to worry about picking the pen up because I'm going to be following lines that the turtle will later draw. So we'll start here. We'll give that a shot. Turtle dot right 90, right? Because right now I'm ending and I'm pointing this direction, but I want to go this direction to move my rectangle down. So I'm going to say turtle dot right, turtle dot forward, height, because that's what we call, that's the rectangle's height and width is height. So I'm going to turtle dot forward height, and then I need to backtrack a little bit. I think there's a backwards. So I could turn right and then go backwards. I'll give that a shot. Turtle dot right. No, I think I need to go left. Yes, I need to go left because I still want to be oriented the same direction. I want to face this direction. I just want to be back a little bit. So let's try turtle dot backward, see if this works. This is going to be half the width minus half the height over. Okay, so we'll say width divided by 2 minus height divided by 2. Okay, let's just try this. Let's see what happens. Let's see where we get to. Awesome. So this looks totally like the pictures over here. The dimensions are a little bit different, right? It's not called with the same dimensions as we have there, but it does look like it's correctly positioned. It looks like the house is centered on the boat. Wonderful, wonderful. So to test this out though, I need to draw another one. And this time, I'm not actually going to move it. I'm just going to start drawing. I'll set the color to be different. Let's try purple this time. And then I'm going to try to draw a houseboat, not boast, that is a little bit wider relative. So let's keep it, let's go to 150, but make it smaller. Let's say 20. So we'll really try and make this kind of look a little bit different and see that our calculations are still correct. Awesome. So we still correctly draw a houseboat over here. And it looks different from the other ones, but the dimensions are all relative and it draws correctly. So I can see clearly that my houseboat function is parameterized correctly. And that means that I have used the parameters correctly and that it's a generalizable function that I can call with different values for the parameters and it still works.